Dispatch number 19, Cold Truth. The head of Brazorian security walked down the slipway and leaned into Tylea's ear, trying to keep the conversation's volume to a minimum. She's crystal clear, sir. Not even the slightest sign of tampering of any of the communication equipment within the ship. Maybe Destiny's Fortune was telling the truth after all. Tylea was beside himself. Trying not to explode in the public for the third time that evening, he kept his gaze straight ahead at the slipway and into the ship, his eyes darting every which way, as if to manifest a solution out of thin air. Someone has to pay for the outrage that happened tonight. I will not go down for this. The casino leader continued to mutter under his breath, but was quickly drowned out by an alarm that came from all of the security guard two-ways still inside the hangar. "What is it now?" yelled Tylea, unable to hold back his hot-headed temper any longer. "What could it possibly be now?" Looks like an escape pod carrying a few life forms managed to slip out of our tractor beam, sir, said a security guard through his two-way. "We haven't authorized any departures during the lockdown, but our security cameras picked up evidence of a scuffle between some dark-hooded figures and a few Destiny's Fortune members in the suite that we put them in. During our sweep of the area, we recovered some kind of communication chip. I think this baby should lead us to what we're looking for." "Thank you, officer," said the Brazorian security head. "Bring it on down here ASAP as we decipher it before fully cleaning Destiny's Fortune." Tylea faced the commanders and smirked. Finally, someone would pay for ruining his night and reputation. Commander Sean had made eye contact with the casino leader for a brief moment, only to have his concentration broken by Commander, who was beginning to unbutton his shirt, also known as Commander Vaughn. "Scan me. Give me a lie detector test and put me through all the security protocols. I ain't got nothing to hide," said Vaughn, growing impatient by the minute. This had the makings of a distraction of some sort. He just knew it. "That won't be necessary, Commander. We shall have the answers that we seek momentarily," said the security head. "You can, please keep your clothes on." All good. All good. "We're vibing," said Vaughn, clearly not happy with the answer given to him. Sean, JB, and Ringbolt all shook their heads in embarrassment. After a few extremely awkward moments, the security team responsible for sweeping the Coliseum suite had arrived at the hangar, handing over the chip to Tylea. "Wonderful work, gentlemen. Absolutely wonderful," said the casino owner, clapping his hands vigorously out of pure spite. "Now, what are our human friends here really up to? Let's find out." The commanders and members of Destiny's Fortune who were outside the ship looked on curiously as Brazorian security forces worked on the communication chip. Several seconds of silence passed before the machine transcribing the chip projected upward to reveal a hologram message. The face that was revealed cast a low rumble of gasp and fear throughout the hangar. Ah, yes, the great Brazorian casino. It had been quite some time since I visited your poor excuse of a money-hungry cash grab, while your pathetic Coliseum event didn't go how you wanted. What did go exactly according to plan was the diversion my henchman created this evening. Not only did your feeble event get ruined, but we also managed to destroy a little excuse for a planet. Who even wants to live on an ice rock anyway? Laborio was not meant to survive. Its lack of hospitality and mindless race did not meet the guidelines for the future of the Arderian galaxy. What you have witnessed tonight is only the beginning of a long and painful journey towards enlightenment. The Legion of Wind is back. The 10 moons of Ilsindor will once again belong to darkness. Oh, by the way, it's probably time that you found out that the Wind have taken a few of your precious captains. They are now en route with our legion to Visfall. We will keep them safe. Don't you worry. The hologram continued to run after the recording had ended, and the wind symbol rotating slowly in the place of Nifty's face. A minute or so went before anyone had the courage to speak up or say anything. All life and purpose had truly been sucked out of the hangar. It was almost as if Nifty and the wind had given the speech in person to them, imposing fear and hopelessness to all who listened. So it is true, Tylea stammered. The blood draining from his face as the Brazorians, the Illuvians, and humans alike tried to process the hologram statement. The Legion of Wind is officially back. That's what we were trying to tell you, yelled Vaughn. We've been fighting Nifty and these dudes the whole time. And now we're wasting even more precious seconds here as sitting ducks while half of our captains, pilot, and payload specialist are all who knows where. Realizing his mistakes, Tylea stepped backwards and convened with the security team. Commander Sean attempted to calm down Vaughn, while JB rallied the recruits to make sure that everyone was okay with what they had witnessed tonight. With Flight Engineer Reimer, Payload Specialist Risk, Captain Brian, Captain Wolfpup, and Captain the Monstar all taken hostage, morale around Destiny's Fortune had never been lower. As hard as this is to say, Brazoria gives its most sincere apology, said the head of security. Our accusations were out of line and incorrect. On behalf of Tylea and Casino Security, Destiny's Fortune has been cleared for departure. About frickin' time, said Vaughn, still pissed about the Brazorian misdiagnosis. Commander Sean had to hold him back and give him a nudge to not fire back any more than he already had. Thank you. We will be on our way now, said Sean. We appreciate all the support and hospitality that Brazoria has given Destiny's Fortune. We will never forget it. The head of security exchanged a nod of respect with the commanders. After surveying the room and gathering their surroundings, both Sean and Vaughn noticed that Tylea was nowhere to be found. What a petty piece of shit. Dude can't even admit and man up to his own mistakes, said Vaughn under his breath, heading back towards the slipway to prepare for takeoff. Commander Sean and JB rallied the recruits back to the ship to move on from the stunning last few hours. Commanders, it is now time for a few of us to head back to Simia for reinforcements, said Ringbolt, a look of concern draped over his normally calm demeanor. The king has been beside himself since learning of the magma scarring used to destroy Laborio. I think the best thing to do here is to try to let him rectify however he sees fit. Trespassing on Simia is one thing, but using sacred magma from the moon itself to inflict destruction on another life form is a travesty, unlike any of us have ever seen in this galaxy in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Aras must ask the High Protectors of the vast meanings and powers within the seal of Ilsindor. I believe that seal is the only real chance that we have of even coming close to defeating what lies in front of us. The wise Theoluvian turned his back towards the commanders and softly whispered under his breath, just loud enough for them to hear. I feel that we are in over our heads this time. Let's hope that I am indeed wrong when this is all said and done. As Ringbolt headed towards the rental ship that Brazoria had lent to their party, another voice came chiming in to wish condolences. Very rarely is he ever wrong, so for all of our sakes, I hope this is one of those rare moments, Link stuttered as he bowed to the commanders and recruits. We shall see you soon, Destiny's Fortune. Stay vigilant in these trying times. The desolate landscape of the northern side of the Apwanabi sector was as far away from the Arderian sun as any area of the galaxy the recruits had been thus far. While the temperature stayed comfortable inside the airlocked escape pod, Risk, Reimer, and the janitors couldn't help but shiver at the emptiness in front of them. How much further until we hit Laborio's relative location? Said Risk, choosing his words carefully to avoid causing any more pain towards their guest and his long lost home. Reimer adjusted his readings on the directional pad of the pod. It should be showing up any minute. Now. You'd be able to see it now, whispered Leroyo, holding back the tears as he arrived back home with no remnants of Laborio in sight. Not a single ice shard nor a single asteroid could be found. Just a pitch black hole of nothingness lay in front of the pod. Let's all have a moment of silence for the people of Laborio, said Reimer, trying to resolve an impossible situation the best way that he knew how. For the lost civilization of Lobos and all of its vast wonders, as part of the Arderian galaxy, we pledge to honor your sacrifice and refuse to forget the powerful part that you had played in this moment in history. Laborio may be gone, but it will never be forgotten. Leroyo sniffled as the crew remained quiet. Paying their respects to the lost civilization was the least that they could do. The silence was broken by a loud noise coming from behind the pod. "What was that?" said Janitor Pro Eric. "We're not alone," said Reimer. "Far from alone. Strap in where you can." "They found us. We're doomed!" shrieked Leroyo. Cutting through the nothingness at what seemed like light speed was a dark, needle-like ship, a signature Wynn aircraft. Reimer knew the build from anywhere. He had spotted it during their escape from Brazoria. Valco come to finish the job that he had started. "Hold on tight. This thing could get a little bit hairy," said Reimer, as he rigged the controls to fit a manual pilot approach. The escape pod had no chance in a firefight compared to a starfighter, so the crew had no choice but to hold on and pray that they could slip through the wind's grasp once again. Valco drove underneath the pod, barrel rolling all the while as a means of playing with his food before he kills it. Reimer continued to shake off the wind, doing everything that he could with limited lack of controls at his disposal. He felt Valco locking on to their vessel with his blaster cannons and prepared to try one last maneuver to potentially save them. Before he could carry out the last-ditch effort, his jaw dropped as he saw a spear-shaped ice dagger launch from the back of the escape pod. Leroyo had rigged one of the engines with his ability to create ice with his own two hands. Turning the propelling engine into a chemically fused ice spear, Leroyo launched the chunk of ice with all of his might back at the Wind ship. The starship didn't have any chance to react. The starship didn't have any chance to react, flying straight into the spear like a piece of wood getting split in half by a metal axe. After the massive explosion had settled, Reimer, Risk, and the crew all held their breaths to see if they really did, in fact, take down a Legion of Wind member. A few seconds later, there appeared Valco, frozen solid in an encased sheet of ice as the result of impact. That's for my friends, family, and wolves of Laborio, you scum, said Leroyo definitively. The rest of the crew paused, taken aback by the stuttering ice wolf. "I had no idea that you had that in you. I'm sure that one felt good," said Reimer, trying to find the words to describe what they all just went through. The Lobos are a harmless species generally. It's only when provoked that we show our true colors. The Legion of Wind have it coming, and there's nothing that'll stop me from avenging all of the loved ones that we've lost, said Leroyo, calming down from his heroic efforts. Very well. Definitely can't blame you for that. Just one thing. Next time that you're going to do that, can you just give me a little bit of time to get the camera? Said Reimer, trying to finally make a little bit of light of the situation. Where are we off to next? There isn't much fuel left in this pod, and we're down to only one propelling engine, said Risk, attempting to get his crew back on track. The closest stopping point for fuel is nearby, on a skyscraper-filled metropolis called Zolturia II, chimed in Leroyo. Once inhabitants of the luscious wildlife planet of Zolturia, the civilization that lived there treated the environment and its resources so poorly that they had to relocate the entire planet and rebuild it on a nearby moon, half of its size. It's the home of the largest city of this entire sector of the galaxy. It's also the host of the biggest armory our deer has ever seen. Sounds like the exact rendezvous that we need, said Reimer, plugging the coordinates into the control deck while simultaneously wiring the location to Destiny's Fortune. To the city, we go. As the escape pod changed course and made its way towards life, the janitors were able to get one final look at Valko's frozen corpse as it floated away into the cold, dark beyond of the outer rim of Obanawi.
Recruits, it's time for you to choose what you think happens next. Select 1 if Destiny's Fortune is able to get in touch with the captured captains. Select 2 if Vaughn attempts to ride a hoverboard. And select 3 if S2TM once again crash lands somewhere for the upteenth time. Head to the Choose Your Own Adventure channel in the Shot to the Moon Discord and discuss your choices with fellow Space Pass holders. Listen to next week's podcast to hear what happens next.